Hello and welcome to today's edition of Top Rated Recruiter Spotlight. My name is Adam Conrad. I'm the founder of Great Recruiters. We are all things reviews, reputation management, brand promotion, and the best friend of all recruiters out there. And today I am joined with the amazing Amanda McCartney of TNAA, Travel Nurses Across America. Amanda, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Adam. Good to see you today.
Good to see you as well. And before we jump in, I'm just going to let you know that Amanda is one of our top rated recruiters for Q4 2024. We are looking at a 4.95 rating. And this isn't just from a couple reviews. This is 184 reviews with a 98% highly recommended rate. Obviously, Amanda, you are doing a lot of things right because people love working with you. And I can't wait to dig in. So to kick things off, tell us a little bit about yourself, and most importantly, how did you get into this awesome recruitment industry?
Okay. So I have an interesting way of how I came into travel nursing, and specifically how I came to find Travel Nurse Across America. My husband is in the Air Force, so we have been traveling around the country for the better part of the last 20 years, been married 20 years. And one of our most recent duty stations is here in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I actually started as a weight loss consultant and ran a weight loss center here in Central Arkansas. Had a couple of great consultants that I worked with, and went on to get marketing degrees. And the story short is one of the girls that I had worked with as a consultant became a marketing team member for TNAA. And I had my twins, and she also got married to a military guy. And we were just talking over lunch one day, and she said, you got to come check out this company I work for. I do the marketing, but you would be a great recruiter. You've got all the people skills. You're a great coach. You're a great motivator. You would be a great recruiter. I was like, recruit what? Recruit who? Like, no clue whatsoever what travel nursing was at the time. I have a sister who is a nurse, an ICU nurse. So I mean, I have that in my family, but I had no idea what the industry was. So as a resident here in Little Rock, one of our big corporate offices is only about 10 minutes away from my house. So I got a chance to go and interview and meet all the amazing, executives and different team members, and got started into recruiting back in 2019. So that's how I got to recruiting.
Outstanding. And so you've been through it and you survived and you came out of it, which is awesome. Love to hear that. So tell the folks, obviously the name Travel Nurses Across America, it's pretty obvious who you recruit for, travel nurses out there. But is there any niche or specialty that you focus in your recruitment?
Yeah, so with Travel Nurse Across America, we primarily recruit all of our registered nurses, and that is a variety of different specialties that are at the bedside or in those acute settings. We also do surgical techs, both OR, CVOR, and then we also have an amazing division, which is our allied team. And I've actually helped on the mentoring side of some of our new recruiters on the allied side, and they're growing wonderfully. But I primarily stick with registered nurses and surgical techs.
Gotcha. Okay. And what do you attribute to your success in recruitment? I mean, you've been doing it now for 6 years, going on 6 years, in 6 years. What do you attribute to your success out there?
Well, one thing I think I have that unique perspective being a military spouse and having the experience and just going from one location to the next, having to sometimes not getting a choice to choose, but having to go to a new place with your work, or in this case my husband's work. I had to go and I had to figure out what I wanted to do. Get a new job, enroll in a new school where it might have been, buy a new house, get a new house. But I had to learn how to adapt, and I had to just really take advantage of the opportunity wherever I was going. And I think it's really made me appreciate, certainly the people that I've met along the way. And I think that's something that I have as kind of I don't know, an asterisk. I think with me as a recruiter is I understand those challenges and that nervousness of going to a brand new place and almost feeling
Right.
Still here, sorry. But that would be one thing that I would say that has helped me just in the understanding of nurses and just that nervousness of taking a big jump or a big risk or a leap into something new. I'm also a coach by trade. Outside of recruiting, I'm also a competitive gymnastics coach. So
Oh,
I do use a lot of coaching with my travelers in the educational piece, motivating, because travel nursing is very challenging.
right.
Sometimes there's great times and there's some tough times. And a good coach and somebody who can just listen and support and motivate, that's one of the big things that I think attributes to my success as a recruiter.
That's awesome. And how is using great recruiters? How has that impacted your career or your
Oh
approach to recruiting?
my gosh, like when great recruiters came into our world, and TNAA announced that we were going to be using this platform, it could not have come at a better time because when you guys came to us and we started on Great Recruiters, it was really in the thick of the pandemic.
Mhm.
And yes, it was a really challenging time, especially for our travelers out there. And, though it may not have always been seen or felt, the recruiters were there with you guys. And we really were thinking about you and just fully understanding what everybody was going through and what you were potentially leaving back home. And it was tough. And I think when Great Recruiters was allowing nurses to provide feedback and support their recruiter and share their experiences, it was such a great thing to see. It was a big thank you in many cases to see those
Mhm.
reviews. But sometimes, especially if you were having, if I was having a bad day, or if I just felt like nothing was going right, or all of my jobs were getting full, or whatever the situation may have been, those Great Recruiter reviews, if I got an alert that there was a new review coming through, it just lifted me up and it
Yeah.
put a smile on my face. And I
Right.
know that that's just a small thing, but it really did make a huge difference. And it still does to this day. Every review I get, it always puts a smile on my face and it reassures me that I'm still doing a good job.
Well, you must be doing a great job because you got named top rated for last quarter. So speaking of that, what does being named top rated? What does that mean to you, and what do you think that means to your candidates?
I think being named and certified as a top rated recruiter really just represents the hard work that I'm putting in, but it really helps me to understand the impact that I'm making on these travelers with their careers and their personal goals and the journeys that I'm
Sure.
helping them to achieve. So
Oh,
yeah, the
sure.
impact that I'm making. So that's one thing I can definitely say.
That's great. And so as a coach, you're also a student. You're a student of what to do. You learn this industry. You've done it a long time. So I'm just curious if you could go back and tell your newbie recruiter self some advice that you've learned along the ways. What advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, and since I do get a chance to mentor a lot of the new recruiters coming into the company,
Yeah.
this is a big question that we always, go back and I have the opportunity to tell those new recruiters because it is so much information and it can be so overwhelming. But we use the term drinking from the fire hose when you first get started, right? So I think just giving yourself the grace and the ability of having patience that you don't need to know everything right away. You learn as you go and you want to have patience with yourself and with the process. And I will say that TNAA just puts that environment, and we have such an amazing culture and such a great support with everybody here at the company that they make sure that we succeed, and that's from the internal employees to, of course, our travelers, is we want everybody to succeed in their career path. So yeah, just the patience, and just trust the process. That would
Trust
be
the
my biggest
process.
recommendation.
Well, and it's easy when you start with a company that does embrace culture and development, and I know TNAA, we've been with them for a long time and help support, and so I know it's a lot easier when you have an environment and leadership that fosters that ability for you to learn and grow. That gives you the runway to be patient. It means the world to folks.
Yeah.
Um, it's a different time these days in the healthcare staffing room, and I'm just curious, what advice perspective can you provide to job seekers out there in the marketplace right now?
Well, I think the biggest thing I'd like to ask my travelers that are interested in pursuing a travel nursing contract is to really get to the root of the why. Why do you want to travel? Why now?
Mm.
What is significant about a certain location? What are the goals that you're trying to accomplish, either personally, financially, um, and professionally? Every traveler is out there for I mean, of course they want to make money, but there's probably going to be something else that they're really wanting to accomplish. And if it is just that this is a good time in their life to go out there and try something new, or go to a new location, the biggest thing that I would say for anybody looking is just to be very upfront with your recruiter
Yeah.
about what your why is and what your goals are. Because we will help in whatever you're seeking, what you're seeking. But the more you can be transparent and open and share, that will help us. It helps makes our job a lot easier too.
That's awesome. And I'll tell you what, if you're a travel out there, if you're thinking about traveling, look, you have a lot of choices of who to choose. I would recommend you choose a great recruiter, a certified great recruiter, a top rated recruiter. I would recommend you start with Amanda McCartney here over at TNAA. Why not? Give it a shot. She's obviously been around a while. She's done this. She cares about you. And really, that's what you should be looking for. Find somebody to work with that cares about your interests more than their pocketbook. There's a lot of recruiters out there that are just chasing the dollar, and they're not really focused on finding the best fit, the right fit, and being there for you. And so, just kudos to you and all the hard work you're doing and reading all your reviews. It's obvious people love working with you. You take the time to understand who they are, and they keep coming back for more. I saw some reviews from new folks that are like, "This is my first time being a traveler," and just the way that you helped get them prepared, and listening to you and the story you're sharing as far as how that moving around from the military perspective helped you put yourself in that perspective. It's
Yeah.
so important. So, Amanda, it's been amazing learning more about you. You are just going to continue having an amazing career out there. And if folks want to reach you, what's the best way for them to connect with you, Amanda?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you can call or text me anytime. I'm at 501-712-1974. I'm also located on some social media platforms, Amanda McCartney TNAA on Facebook. I personally love interacting with some of my travelers out on assignment. I love seeing what they're doing, and just sharing those journeys with them. And I also am on Instagram. I am the underscore blonde underscore travel recruiter on Instagram.
I love it. Hey, we're going to drop all of those in the comments for you as well.
Awesome.
But that is a wrap. And Amanda, I appreciate you joining us today. Kudos to all your success. And everyone, go out there. You got a lot of choices to make. And if you're going to choose to work with a recruiter, make sure you choose a great recruiter like Amanda. But that's a wrap. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Adam.